Hello, welcome back to Classic Data Lab. In today's video, we are going to continue with our lessons on data structures in Python. In our previous video, we learned that data structures basically refers to a format for storing, organizing, processing, and accessing data. And you can view them as a container or containers for holding data. In Python, there are 4 basic data types: list, tuples, dictionaries, and sets. We've dealt with the list already. Now we are focusing on tuples. So let's get started. Tuples are similar to the list, just that tuples are immutable. So these are the core characteristics of tuples. Number 1, tuples are created using the normal bracket, or what we call the curve bracket, right? So you can create a tuple using the curve bracket, the tuple function, or just bring comma between the data that you are storing in a particular variable, right? Without bringing anything, automatically Python will see it as a tuple. I'll show you that right away. Then secondly, tuples are ordered, meaning that tuple allows you to index its elements one after the other, like that of the list, right? 3, tuples are immutable, and this makes them different from a list. Once you create a tuple, you can't add or remove from it. It is static. Once you create it, you can't change it, you can't alter it, and that's tuples for you. The fourth quality or character of tuples says that they can hold different data types, right? So you can hold, for tuple, you can hold different data types, data structures together at the same time, okay? And it's similar to a list, because a list can also do a similar thing, right? So now that we've seen the characteristics of a tuple, let's move on to see how it is being created. Let's take a look at some examples. So let's start with tuple A. As you can see over here, I want to create a tuple, and I'm going to call it tuple A. So here I'm not using the curve brackets. I'm just writing the data types 1, 2, 3 in letters, all right? And I'm separating them with commas. This automatically becomes a tuple. That's Python. By default, if you assign 2 or more data to a variable, right, whether strings, numbers, or whatever, automatically it becomes a tuple. Python saves it or stores it as a tuple. So this is something that you should pay attention to. And then you can also see from example 2 here, tuple B. I'm creating another tuple, but here I'm using the curve bracket. So I'm putting 1, 2, 3 as in numbers, 1, 2, 3 in the curve bracket, as you can see here, right? This is also another way of creating a tuple. I'm doing the same thing. They say 1, 2, 3, but here I'm not going to put them into a curve bracket, and I'll later prove to you that they are the same. Okay. Example 4, T1. We are creating a tuple, but we are having different data types. The first one being a string, the second one being an integer, third an integer, then the fourth one being a boolean, and then a float. These are different data types, and they can all be found in one tuple. So tuple allows you to have different data types in it. Not all data structures allows you to do that. Very soon we will see other data structures in other packages, and you get to understand that not all data structures allows you to put different data types in it. All right. And example 5 also give emphasis on the same thing, that you can even go beyond data types and even put a different data structure in it. So here we have example 5 here. We have 45, which is an integer. We have high, which is a string. Then we have a whole tuple again in it. Right, that's the first tuple we saw. We can see it in the second tuple here, I mean T2. And then we can also see a list in it, right? And all this, if I run it, everything will work perfectly. This tells you that tuples allows you to bring different data types or data structures together, and it wouldn't give you any problem, right? Now, let's consider tuple B and tuple C, see whether they are the same. One with the curve bracket, the same values, one is with a curve bracket. The second one doesn't have a curve bracket. When we say tuple B equal to tuple C, Python will return true, because whether you bring the bracket or not, it's the same tuple, right? So it means that they are the same thing. Good. So that's tuples, definition and examples for you. Let's move to the next point regarding tuples, what we call tuple unpacking. Assuming I have marks here, 87, 85, and 90, and I'm going to assign them to a variable called marks. Automatically, it becomes a tuple. So when I run this one, it's a tuple called marks. So we can even call it and see the output. You can print marks right now and see what is going to be brought out. Okay, so we can see 87, 85, and then 90 with the curve bracket telling us that it's a tuple. Assuming you want to separate these marks, right? You know that the first mark is for John, the second mark is for Peter, and then the third mark is for James. Good. You want to just assign them. So when you call John, the 87 should rather appear. So you are separating them to the individuals. Okay. To do this, all that you need to do is just write the variable names. Let's say John, Peter, James, and then equate it to the variable marks. Python automatically matches them. So John will be mapped to 87, Peter will be mapped to 85, and then James will be mapped to 90. So if I run this and then I come to call John, you'll see that 87 will be returned, Peter 85, and then James 90. This is what we call tuple unpacking. Basically, you are unpacking the elements in the tuple and assign them to different variables, right? So that's tuple unpacking for you. It's very, very important to note this, because you will see it in people's code and you wouldn't understand what's going on. And you yourself will also apply it in your day-to-day activities with Python. So we have more example here, but here we are going to focus on indexing. Okay, so tuple indexing. The example that we have here, we have keepers. That means in football, just an example, we have different keepers that are well known in the world, that are well known in the football game. So I'm giving you some few examples here. I'm not too good when it comes to football, so please don't attack me in case I say something that is not in line with your team. Great. So let's have these players here. And then we want to get the first player, right? So we want to get the first player the same way we did with the list. Just have to bring the variable name and then a square bracket and the position of that particular player. So the first one will start from 0 because Python start numbering from 0. So we have the first one here. You want to get the fourth player, right? Which is 0, 1, 2, 3. That is Mike, Megnan. Yeah. You have to use index 3 because 0, 1, 2, 3, right? So when you run this, it will return to you. And you can also do negative indexing. You want to start from the last player. Indexing from right to left. You use the negative indexing. So you can have Peter Galaxy, and that's it for you, right? And then you can also do same even for the middle or for the last person. All that you need to do is just negate the number, and that's all, right? So this is Jan Oblak. Okay, when we learn about indexing, the next thing that follows is slicing. Maybe you want a chunk, it's the same thing. You just have to use the square bracket and then use your index to specify what portion you want to bring out. So here you want 0 to 3. So if you are going to run this this particular script, we are going to get the 0 here, 1, 2. It wouldn't add index 3 because Python always excludes the last position or the upper boundary. So please pay attention to that. So whatever holds with the list when it comes to indexing also holds with that of the tuples. If you also want to index maybe every third or every second value, you can see it here. Just bring double columns and then the number of counts you want to execute. Okay, so here every third keeper will be returned, and that's what you are seeing over here, right? So with indexing and slicing is the same thing as list. So if you understand that of the list, you shouldn't worry about tuples when it comes to indexing. Now let's talk about tuple methods. Unlike list, tuple methods are very, very few. Here you can see the count and then the index. The count allows you to count how many times an element appears in the tuple, right? So for instance, if I say dot count oblak, right, keepers dot count oblak, you realize that Jan Oblak appeared only once and is saying that 1. Okay. If you want to know the index, what's the index position of Oblak, that's where you can use dot index and it will return to you. So tuples are quite simple. Unlike list that has several methods to manipulate data. For tuple, the common methods include the count and then the index, and that's all, right? Now, before we bring this session to a close, I want to mention something to you that's very, very important. There's something called membership operators in Python, right? So membership operators are used to check if a particular item is a member of a given data structure or type, okay? So for instance, you have a list of fruits, and let's say you don't know whether mango is part of that list or not, or a tuple of fruits, you don't know whether mango is part or not. You can just use the membership operator to check, right? And basically the membership operators includes in and not in. So when you say mango in that particular list, if mango is part of the fruit, you will see true. If not, you will get false. And then the reverse too, if you don't want to say mango in, you can also use mango dot in, meaning that you're making a statement like mango is not part of this list. And if mango is part, you get false. If it is not part, indeed you will get true, right? So that is the membership operators, in and not in. These are very, very, very crucial because at a point in time, you may want to check whether a particular ID is in a list of given ID or is in a particular data structure. The membership operator will allow you to do that just in a second. So it's important to pay attention to that. So let's demonstrate it here. We have list 1, which contains players: Messi, Ronaldo, Mbappe, and the Modric. Then list 2, we also have Mane, Salah, Neymar, and Depay. We want to check if Neymar is in the first list. So we say Neymar in list 1, and you realize that is false. Neymar is not part of the list 1, right? Neymar not in list 1. You rather like you will say true because Neymar cannot be found in list 1. When we change it and we say Neymar in list 2, you will see that it's true because Neymar is part of the second group. So we say true. When we say Neymar is not in the second group, we also get false. I'm showing you this because as we move forward, you'll be seeing the application of these operators, and I wouldn't want you to get frustrated when we start using them. So that is it for today's lesson. Very, very simple, very, very short. However, it's important to keep it that tuples are crucial when it comes to data manipulation or when it comes to Python data structures. So most of the time we try to avoid them, but we will later see the essence of tuples in Python programming. Great. Thank you for watching this video, and I will like you to subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and expect more videos on data science, machine learning, artificial intelligence. See you in the next video where we will focus on dictionaries. Bye for now.